I think a lot of people are not happy in their friendships, and they're not necessarily sure why, or they don't want to come face to face with the reasons, because friendships are relationships at the end of the day, and like having to confront certain things can be really hard. Hello, and welcome to my lonely little corner of my room. Oh, this is bothering me. It's blue here. I always have a strip of blue tape somewhere in my space because I craft too much. Anyways, I wanted to talk about an episode I just watched from the Can I Say Something podcast. The host names are Madeline and Maal, just cute, both their names start with M. They were talking about relationships, specifically friendships. It was Maal's rules of friendships. Yeah, I really appreciated it, and I wanted to talk about some aspects of it today, and specifically how I view friendships.
But I have to say how lucky I am to have Blair Waldorf as my best friend.
I think, and this is something that they say in their video, friendships to me are not supposed to be difficult. There have been people in my life where I am like, we're hanging out all the time, and you're calling me your best friend, or like you're speaking pretty highly of this relationship that we have, but like no matter what, every single time I leave from spending time with you, I feel off. Like I feel strange, I feel weird, and I just don't think it's supposed to be that way. The reason I don't think that, I have friends who I've had for a very long time who don't make me feel that way. At some point, Madeline talks about how Maal has never annoyed her, and this is something I resonate with so much, and I think is so cute and also very scary, because I find that when I have a friend who I'm like, we are soulmates through and through, like there's absolutely nothing that I couldn't tell this person, and I just feel like we see the world in very similar ways, I 100% put them on a pedestal, and I feel always bad because I know that they would be like, you're crazy, and like, I have this and this and this wrong with me, whatever. But yeah, this idea of putting your friends on a pedestal, you can do absolutely no wrong in my eyes. I have a friend who I've known forever, since high school. Yeah, since high school, freshman year of high school. And in my brain, she is perfect. There are times where she's done something wrong and I fully understand that, but I just think that every reason that she has for doing something is valid and like very like the way we got there is very understandable. Even if it's a mistake, like, hey, we all make mistakes. What? Oh, so suddenly you're perfect. No, everyone makes mistakes. And your mistake was justifiable. And I think there's something really sweet about viewing a person like that. And also bad. I can acknowledge that this is also not good, because when it does come to a point where, you know, something happens, then it's like, oh, like I feel like it'll make, like, if they're up on a pedestal and they do something that could potentially knock them down a peg, that's gonna, like, the fall is gonna hurt more because they were so high up. Another example, one of my best friends who I've known since middle school, he is someone that I see as truly, like, I don't even know how to explain. I feel like sometimes I believe in reincarnation, and I think in every instance of this life that we are in, like in every iteration of us or whatever, I think we have found each other and we've always been together, maybe even potentially came from the same glowing orb of light that was split off. I don't know. I believe that me and this person are soulmates, right? He has annoyed me multiple times. There are things that he said where I'm like, side eye, or like, okay, that was weird, or like, whatever. But I kind of equate it to something like my relationship with my sisters, where, especially growing up when we were younger, we would get into arguments and fights, and we've seen the worst of each other, but at the end of the day, you'd be like, begrudgingly go into the other's room and be like, sorry, like, a little angry, like, eyes looking down to the floor, sorry for whatever it is that I did, or whatever. And we'd make up because it's kind of a necessity, like, you have to, because it's not like you're not going to be in my life. I'm not going to be mad at you forever. I can't be. So we have to resolve this one way or another. And that's how I feel like the friendships in my life where I'm like, oh, we're meant to be together forever. Another reason why I've been thinking about this recently and why this episode was like so perfect for me to hear right now. I recently saw this tweet, "Annoyance is the price of community." And I was like, huh, yes, that is true. You're never going to have a perfect person in your life, even though sometimes I tend to think that the people in my life are perfect. But you're never going to have someone who's perfect in your life. And everyone's going to annoy you at some point. At some point, your friends are going to annoy you. I'm going to annoy everybody I know at some point, if I haven't already. At what point is the line like, okay, you're annoying me in this moment, and, you know, maybe I'll like tell you that, or I'll take like a step away from you for a second till we sort it out, or maybe we're just not meant to be in each other's lives. That line to me, very blurred. I have no clue where that starts and ends. In college, I had this friend, let's call her Jade. I had a friend called Jade, and she was always like, yeah, you're my best friend. You're going to be my maid of honor at my wedding, and we're going to do this and this together. And oh my gosh, I can't wait till after we graduate. We're going to travel to this place and da da da. And I would hear these things and I would agree and nod. Oh my gosh, I have tea. I forgot to drink it. Okay, it's at an acceptable temperature. Jade would say all these nice things about me, and I would in turn sort of reciprocate, I guess, some gestures. I try not to say things that I don't mean. So I don't think I ever necessarily called her my best friend back, but I'm spending so much time with her. But I'm like, I always felt weird about it because I was like, I think I didn't feel genuine in a lot of those actions. But it's hard because it's like, what do you do when someone is being vulnerable with you in this way and telling you how much you mean to them, really? And you're just like, you don't mean as much to me, I guess, which is kind of like messed up to say. But yeah, what do you do? I think that in our case, right, because we're not friends anymore, I'm probably just repeating so much of this podcast because I resonated with absolutely everything. Like, I've had every instance of this and every thought of this go through my brain. But Jade was constantly talking about herself all the time in a way that felt like, I don't know, like I was like, I know she needs this and it's not on purpose. Like, she just is this way and it's not on purpose at all. But every single conversation, I'm like, I actually haven't spoken once. That's interesting. Have you noticed that? I've noticed that. And yeah, she was always talking about herself. And she also was always like, we had a very competitive relationship where, like, I don't know, it was so bizarre. I'd be like, oh yeah, I have like a essay to write today. It's like 10 pages. And she'd be like, oh, yeah, well, I have a 15-page essay. Like, little things, very little things like that started compounding on themselves to the point where I was like, I cannot do this anymore. And I guess the thing to do, or that would have been good to do in those moments, is like say, hey, why are you always doing that? Why are you always comparing yourself to me? Or why are we always in competition? Like, that's strange. Is there a conversation that could have been had where it, like, we could have squashed some of the tension? Or is a lot of the ways they're behaving sort of inherent to who they are? And is it completely inappropriate for me to say anything about the way that they operate or the way that they interact with me? I tend to lean towards it's inappropriate to say anything because I never want to ask somebody to change, ever, which maybe is like controversial. I don't know. But I think most people, you're not allowed to ask to change. I'm sorry. Unless they're doing something like harmful, we can't control anybody, So I'm like, I always tend to err on the side of like, okay, this isn't working for me. Let me step out of your life. Like, is that bad? Is there a better way of operating? I don't know. I don't even think that it's that the price of community is annoyance. I think the price of community is inconvenience. Wow, I'm answering I'm so glad we're doing this, you guys. I'm getting so much from it. But I'm sticking to what I'm saying. I don't think that friendships are supposed to be difficult or annoying. I think someone can be annoying, but I don't think the like basis of your friendship should feel annoying, right? Right? Maybe I need to stew on it some more because I think inconvenience is a better word. Like, I have had times, right, where I know that my friend needs something or needs me to go somewhere or do something for them. And I know that I do not want to do it, but I will inconvenience myself in that moment to help them or to be there for them. And I think that that is different than like this person is fully like I find them inherently annoying. I think these are different things. I think there's a level of cognitive dissonance happening where I am like, oh yeah, we're friends and we're maybe best friends because we're hanging out all the time. But then I don't know, like I don't understand you or the reason you're saying things, or our values are just completely different. And I'm just like, I don't really know what, like in my brain, I'm having this like strange sort of like, oh, I'm not very close to you. Like I know that in my head or in my heart, but then my actions are like, we're spending so much time together and we're acting like we're close, but like something's not clicking. Yeah, and I've been really bad about in my past listening to that part of myself that's just telling me, hey, this person probably just is not your bestest friend in the whole world, and that's fine. Maybe stop acting like it. Like Jade, for example, I found inherently annoying. Talk too much, only about herself, and the other things she was talking about were not interesting. Sorry, call me awful, but I just don't think we were meant to be in each other's lives. There's someone else out there who's gonna talk to Jade and think that everything about the way she operates makes total sense. And that's good, and that's what I would like her to have. But yeah, I think those are different things. I think it's okay and honestly probably necessary to be like, this person might not be someone who's meant to be in my life long term. I guess the hard part too is finding a way to then separate yourself from this person or leave. Because, okay, to wrap up the Jade story, I did have a very official friend breakup with her where I sent her a text being like, hey, I'm so sorry. I just think we're in different places right now, and I don't know if we should be friends anymore. And, she was mad and she was like, yeah, whatever, bye, which is fair. But then there are other people where it's like, that's not as easy to do. Maybe they're just like more ingrained, like maybe they're in the same friend group as you or like whatever. And I think in those cases, if you're not going to outright friend break up with them, it's probably best to find a way to dial it back. Which is something Madeline Maal were saying, is like, sometimes you just need to let it fizzle out. Easier said than done sometimes, but yeah, I think that's necessary. There are aspects of a relationship that will be inconvenient and will be difficult, but I don't think that should be one of them. Like, I don't feel good after being with you or talking to you. That feels incorrect. And I think that it's very important for people to surround themselves with people who are supposed to be there, because it's going to affect every other aspect of your life, like I think that friend groups that are just so toxic, where there's just so much competition and so much sneakiness and like talking behind each other's backs and yada yada yada, I'm like, this is terrible. I'm just like, your friend, the one person who you're supposed to feel like, let me kick back, take my shoes off, and like relax a little bit, feel comfortable in this very uncomfortable world. You're having these types of dynamics. That feels crazy to me. It's better, honestly, to be alone than be in that sort of situation. I've been talking somehow for 40 minutes. I feel like I said a whole bunch of nothing and repeated myself. So we'll see if we can conjure up a video out of this. But yeah, all this to say, friendships are some of the most important relationships you can ever have in your life. And I don't think people should be so flimsy with who they allow to be close to them. And I think it ought to be a priority in your life to surround yourself, or that's sometimes difficult. I'll say this instead. It ought to be a priority in your life to remove people who you know in your gut isn't supposed to be there, and to evaluate like where the line is for you. I think you should go out of your way for your friends, and I think you should operate in your friendships almost like you're in a romantic relationship where it's like, okay, I'm responsible for this person and their feelings, but only for people who you know are supposed to be there. Like, you can't do that for everyone. But yeah, I guess that's my 2 cents. You should go and check out Madeline Maal's video, Kiss Podcast. Highly recommend. They're so cutesy, and I love their friendship, and the way they talk about each other, to me, is the pinnacle of beautiful friendship. That's what your friendship should look like. If you guys are not like that, if your closest friend and you are not like that, then maybe, I don't know, maybe you guys need to talk or something, or figure something out. Or maybe that's not your person. Something to think about. Okay, thanks for watching. Maal and Madeline, if you ever see this video, I have one request of you. Please, I would really love... Okay, actually, let me rephrase this. Can I say something? I think it would be so helpful if in your videos you had chapters, because there's certain things I love rewatching your videos all the time. I think they're great. I would love to be able to like reference certain things, and I think chapters would be really good for that.